Good morning, you guys. Happy Thursday. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the topic of the morning. Stop complaining. No one cares. Okay, stop complaining. No one cares. Okay, a lot of you guys have a really bad habit of complaining. Oh, well, my job is just so hard, and I don't know how I'm going to rob Patrice to pay Paula this month. And my job just treats me like shit. And can you believe so and so said this? And can you believe so and so did that? And girl, no one cares. Nobody cares. Instead of you sitting around complaining about your problems, how about you figure out how to fix the problems? So if you don't like your job, let's figure out how to get out of the job. If you don't like your finances, let's figure out how to either save more money, live below our means, or make more money. If you don't like the way somebody is treating you, leave. It's really not that hard. You make it hard because a lot of you guys live in a mindset of feeling trapped. A lot of you guys live in a mindset of, well, it's me. A lot of you guys have a victimhood mentality. And until you get out of that, you'll continue to live day after day just sitting around complaining about shoulda, woulda, coulda, if, ands, and buts. And my question for you is, where does that really get you? Absolutely nowhere. It gets you nowhere. You can literally create the life that you want for yourself. How do I know? Because I created my own life. Okay. I used to hate my job. I used to be 100 pounds overweight. I used to have really bad acne. I used to think I was ugly. I used to be broke as hell, paycheck to paycheck. I used to be all of the things, all of the things. I didn't have purpose in my life. I felt like I was trapped in my life. And, I just had all these things I felt like were working against me. And this was in my 20s. And it's like one day I was like, enough is enough. I don't have to live like that. It's like I realized that I have a choice. You have a choice. Now, the people that you're around may try to make you feel like you don't have a choice and this is just the way life is and it's not going to get no better. Well, they have a trap mindset too. They have a victimhood mindset too. And so that's why they're projecting that onto you. But I'm here to tell you that you could literally create the life that you want. You can't manifest it and not do shit. You have to manifest and take action. So every single day, not once in a while, not once when you feel like it, literally every single day, no ifs, ands, or buts, you need to be doing something that's going to move you forward and into the direction that you want to be in, that's going to move you forward and put you where you want to go. You have 24 hours in a day. I don't want to hear the excuse of, oh, well, I want to start a business, but I didn't have time to make content today. That's complete bullshit. That is complete bullshit. It takes 30 seconds to record a TikTok reel. It takes 10 minutes to make a YouTube video. That is complete bullshit. And yeah, these videos that I'm referring to, these are going to be low maintenance videos. These are videos where you just sit in front of the camera and you just talk about whatever. But that still beats doing absolutely nothing. You don't have to have every video fully edited with all the best lighting and trying to be perfect, because when you try to do that, you move nowhere. Nothing gets done. And you let another day go by doing absolutely nothing towards the goal, but then you claim you want better for yourself. Well, your actions scream, that's a lie. Your actions scream bullshit. Remember that? The bullshit call? Bullshit. That's what that's screaming. That's screaming, I just want to be a complainer. That's screaming, I don't really want solutions. I just want to tell somebody my problems who's willing to listen. That's just screaming victimhood. And on this channel, we don't do victims. We don't do victims. Ain't nobody sitting here saying your life isn't hard. But guess what? No one cares. I'm just being real. I'm just being real. Nobody gives a damn. Okay. So you sitting around complaining about your problems, you're just wasting your own time, your own energy, because nobody cares. And honestly, that's not moving you forward. That's keeping you in victimhood. That's what it's doing. So stop. I really don't care. Nobody cares. Okay? Life is hard. Didn't you know that? We all got problems. Didn't you know that? Everybody has problems. You're not special. Okay? The question is, what are you going to do about those problems? What are you going to do about it? Just complain to whoever listens or fix it. Those are really the only two options you have. And the whole sitting around trying to collect pity, yeah, no, absolutely not. Girl, get your shit together. Get it together. You have more control over your life than you give yourself credit for. And that's just being real. Okay. And listen, I used to have a trap mindset too. I used to believe that there was nothing that I could personally do to make my life better. I used to believe that this is life, right? And everyone's miserable. But no, that's not true. That's not true. If you don't like your job, then quit. Find a new one. If you don't like the way your friends treat you, leave them alone. Go find some new friends. Like, it's really not that hard. And some might say it's easier said than done. No, not really. Not really. It's just your excuses make you believe that you don't have better options. Your lack of confidence makes you believe that you can't do better. That's what that is. You lack confidence in yourself. That's what this really boils down to. You live in lack. You live in scarcity. You live in victimhood. That's what this boils down to, for real. Because if you are really a truly confident woman, then you already know if something's not serving you, it can be replaced. You would already know that. But because you haven't found the confidence from within, you don't believe that there are opportunities everywhere. You don't believe that. You believe that the job you have right now is the only job that can pay you what you're making and give you whatever it is you feel like that job is giving you. You don't believe that there are other jobs out here that can provide you with whatever that job is providing you with. That's what you believe. You don't believe that a business could make you more money than you imagine. You don't believe that. You might say that you do, but deep down inside, subconsciously, you don't really believe that. And since you don't believe that, you refuse to go and find better. You refuse to change your circumstances. You would rather complain and vent to whoever is willing to listen. And some of you guys, your friendships are literally just complain parties. A lot of you guys are in friendships where y'all just sit around all day and talk about y'all's problems. Like, that's literally the premise of the relationship. It's just a big old trauma bond. That's what that is. A lot of y'all have friendships where all you are doing is, what's the word I'm looking for? All you are doing is literally connecting off of all the traumas that you live with on a day-to-day basis. That's the premise of your entire friendship. And then you wonder why you have a negative mindset. You wonder why you're pessimistic. The friends that you choose to associate with daily, all you guys do is just talk about how bad your life is. Y'all just take turns. Oh, can you believe this happened to me today? Girl, I'm sorry to hear that, but guess what happened to me today? It's literally a big old pity party over the phone. That's what y'all got going on. And then you wonder why you have the mindset that you have. Listen, there's nothing wrong with talking to your friends about problems, right? I guess that's what friendships are for. But at the same time, your friend should also be helping you come up with solutions. And then you actively work on those solutions. It shouldn't be, let's just take turns talking about how bad our lives are and seeing whose life is worse. Like, what is that really doing for you? What is that really doing for you? And listen, I've told y'all in other videos, I don't have friends. So when I say things like, I guess that's what friendships are for, I guess. I mean, me personally, if I have problems, I talk to a professional. I'm just not the person that's going to sit around and just talk to someone who's willing to listen about like problems. That's just not my vibe. But to each his own. I do believe that you should speak to somebody professional who can give you unbiased opinions. Because a lot of times the people who you are talking to most of the time, I don't want this to sound crazy, but oh well. A lot of the times, not always, okay? This is never always. This is just a lot of the times. A lot of the times, the friendships that you have, they're reflections of where you are in life right now, okay? Because notice how, like, once something changes, sometimes the friendships fall off. Like if somebody gets married, not saying y'all won't still be friends, but maybe that friend found other friends who are married. So, they now have friends who are married, like how they're married. And so they may prefer to hang out more with their married friends. Notice how sometimes when women have kids, especially like in your 20s, when a woman has kids, she might still be your best friend or whatever, but she's also now going to start talking to other women who have kids because they're able to relate to her on something that if you don't have kids, you can't relate to, right? So a lot of times the friendships that we have, you're really only friends because you share similarities to something in that moment. Not always, but a lot of times, right? But once someone starts progressing or, just doing something a little different, maybe they move, the friendship kind of falls off. Not saying that y'all aren't still friends, but you just don't talk to each other as often as you once did, right? A lot of times friendships are convenient. And then, once the convenience factor is moved, then the friendship may become a little rocky. Or you guys just, naturally start to distance yourself. But a lot of times when you're talking to your friends about your problems, well, they can only give you the perspective that they know. And if you're negative, then 9 times out of 10, she's negative too. So she can only give you negative feedback. If your friend is insecure, 9 times out of 10, you're insecure. Because if you're not, it's going to be really hard for you to be friends with someone who's insecure. If you are a really confident woman, like you believe in yourself, you think you're beautiful as hell, like you don't think there's anything that you can't do, it is extremely hard for you to be friends with somebody who does not believe that about themselves. Because the conversation that y'all have on a regular basis, you're going to be butting heads because y'all don't have the same beliefs. So the point I'm making is you're telling your problems to your friends, but they can only give you feedback where they can meet you at. I hope I'm saying that right. Like you can't expect a friend who struggles with finances to give you financially sound advice. How can she give you advice on your finances and what you should do? And like she can't, because she's in the same boat you're in. So she doesn't know. But that's who you're literally sitting there trying to complain about your problems to. It doesn't make sense. Like it really doesn't make sense. But in your mind, it does. But it gets you nowhere. That gets you absolutely nowhere. Nothing is accomplished with that. It's literally just you sitting around wasting your precious time when you could be coming up with solutions. And so I say all this to say, stop complaining because nobody cares. At the end of the day, we all have our own problems. So instead of you spending hours on the phone complaining about what's wrong in your life, how about you spend hours coming up with solutions and then executing those solutions, okay? You can't just make solutions and then not do them. You have to actually work towards those solutions, okay? And that's what you should be doing. Not sitting around complaining about what's not going right in your life because nobody gives a damn. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So do yourself a favor and start executing the solution. Stop living in a pity party. That's not cute. That whole pity thing. And that's what I'm saying. This prime example, like even if I had friends, I could not be friends with somebody who is a complainer because I'm a solution-based person, okay? So we wouldn't make good friends. It's going to be a constant battle because I'm going to try to motivate them and tell them to get up off their ass and do something about it. But all they want to do is sit around and complain. So we're not going to be able to be friends because we're just on two different frequencies. A lot of times the friends that you have, y'all are friends because y'all are operating on the same frequency. But once you decide to step into a new frequency and do something better for yourself, well, now there's no longer, it's going to be hard for y'all to relate to each other because now you think this way, they don't. And so you're trying to say these things. They don't understand what the hell you're talking about. And it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. So you have to be careful who you are, quote unquote, complaining to in the first place, because the person that you're talking to about your problems, they got the same problems you got. So how the hell can they really give you sound advice? Which is why I keep telling y'all, instead of talking to your friends about your problems and complaining, why don't you just talk to a professional? Why don't you just talk to a professional who can give you unbiased advice? Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Like, prime example, maybe you're in a toxic relationship, right? And so you're venting to your friend, telling her about this toxic ass relationship. But she's also in a toxic relationship. So her advice might be completely different than somebody's who's not in a toxic relationship, who's in a healthy, emotionally sound relationship, right? Because they see things differently. But because your best friend is also in a toxic relationship, she can only give you the advice that she would give herself, which is, well, I'm sure y'all will work it out. I'm sure it'll work. He probably didn't mean it. But it's not that she's doing it maliciously. Like, it's not like she's like, oh yeah, I want my friend to ruin her life. It's just, that's the frequency she's operating on. So she can't give you anything more than that. Like, you know what I mean? That's just the best she can give you. But that's who you're sitting around telling your problems to. I just want you to see the problem with that. I need you to understand that that's a problem. And that's why you're not getting anywhere. Stop complaining. Stop complaining. Stop. Like, just stop. It's not helping you. It's preventing you from getting to the next level. We talked about this, what was it? Not yesterday, the day before yesterday, how like life is like a video game, right? And how until you can reach the new level, you have to beat the level that you're currently on, and you'll get as many lives as you need. God will give you as many opportunities as you need to get to the next level, but you're not going to get to the next level until you beat that level, like a video game. And for a lot of y'all, you can't even get to the next level because you're too busy complaining. You have the power to fix anything in your life that you're not happy with. You just make choices not to. I said that on my TikTok live. And matter of fact, this is another example. So y'all know, well, if you don't know, you need to know. For those of you guys who are trying to get into the digital product space and make money online, build your online business, I make a lot of sales on TikTok Live, okay? And if you have not gotten on TikTok Live to promote your product, again, I don't understand what's wrong with you. That's where you need to be. Get on TikTok Live and start promoting your products. But anyways, I come on here on YouTube and I talk to you guys about the pros and cons of online business. That's what this YouTube channel is about. It's literally about, like, you know, my journey of entrepreneurship. I've been a full-time entrepreneur for 5 years. I started during COVID. And this channel is really just like me teaching you guys everything I learned, my perspective, things that I do. I'm not sitting here calling myself an expert or anything. Just sharing my journey, my ups and downs and things like that. And this year, 2025, I started my online coaching business, basically teaching everybody or anyone who's willing to listen what I've learned in content creation and online business, right? So anyways, that's what I've been doing this past year. So what is it, November? So 11 months now. First of all, time is just moving by so quickly. But anyways, I was on TikTok Live yesterday, and, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it's extremely hard to do something every day and you're not necessarily guaranteed the results that you want. Yes. Like, I'll get on live damn near every day. And some days I don't make sales. Like, some days I do not make sales. I could have a full house of people on there. Like, I've had lives where I had like 220 people on there and nobody bought what I was selling. And then I've had lives where I had 10 people on there and all 10 people bought what I was selling. Like, literally, okay? But it sucks because I've also had lives where, I had a good number of people who were commenting, engaging, acting interested. But then when it was time to purchase, no sales, right? And yes, it is hard to do something every day and not get the results that you want in the time frame in which you feel entitled to them. And I say that because if you do keep doing the same thing every day, eventually you will get those results that you want. But a lot of times we have a sense of entitlement and we believe that we should have the results right now because we said so, right? So it is very hard to keep pushing. But yesterday, what am I doing? Oh, my blush. Yesterday, I was on TikTok Live and, running through my script. And I know I've made YouTube videos about TikTok Live and how I host my lives. But anyway, so check those out. But anyways, I was running my script, doing what I do, full of energy, just really teaching people how to start their business. When it was time to get to the offer, because I host mine like a webinar, you guys. So I give all the information in the first part of the live, and then I pitch the offer at the end. And so when I pitched the offer, why I made $700. $700 on one TikTok live. And this is what I mean by you have a choice in life. You have a choice, okay? You can keep doing what you're doing, which might not be giving you the results that you want, or you can fix it. I told you guys at the beginning of this live, I used to hate my job, paycheck to paycheck, rob Patrice to pay Paula, miserable, feeling trapped, depressed, drinking, overweight as hell, right? I had a lot of the same problems, but I chose to fix my life. And here I am, X amount of years later, making $700 in one live on a TikTok, doing what I love, living life on my terms. Can you imagine a life where you're literally on live right now, doing your makeup, doing your hair, getting ready for your day, and talking to people who are interested in what you have to say? Just tuning in, listening to your take on things. And to get paid also. But some of y'all would rather just sit around and complain. Listen, I did not come from a rich family. Like, I came from a single parent household. Like, I was broke. And you know what sucks? You know what really sucks about coming from a single parent household? Because a lot of people do, right? But you know what's really, really hard, okay? And this is why my counselor, because I go to counseling. Just like I tell y'all to go to counseling, I go to counseling. My counselor believes it was the way I was brought up as to why I'm so ambitious. I grew up in a single parent household. My mom raised me and my brother, right? No help from my father. But she had us in a school system that she couldn't really afford, right? We were in the district, but we had like the smallest house possible, right? Because she wanted to make sure we went to a good school system, right? We could have lived in the projects, and I could have been considered rich in the projects, right? Because a lot of people who live in the projects, they're on government assistance at this, that, and the third, right? So the income that she had, if we lived in the projects, I would feel rich, right? But she actually had us in a area that was higher end, more wealthier families, but I was poor as hell compared to them. So I would go to school with nothing cool, okay? Like when everyone's talking about what they got for Christmas, I ain't get none of that shit, right? when they're getting cars for their 16th birthday. I did get a car. I got a car. My mom blessed me with a car, but it had nothing to do. It was nothing like their cars. Okay, these kids, their parents, they was getting them brand new cars. Some of the students had Mercedes Benzes, but because I was so broke in comparison to my friends, like that sucked. That sucked. That sucked, right? And some people, like, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, she wanted to make sure we were in a good school system. So, she did what she had to do. But also by putting us in that school system, I felt like I didn't have what everyone else had. Of course, I always had the basics. Like, I always had food to eat. I always had a roof over my head. I always had clothes on my back. But I never had what, like, my classmates had. Like the luxury stuff. They would be going on trips when it was back to school. They had like the freshest clothes. They were talking about all the vacations they went on. And so it made me feel like I was lacking. I was embarrassed. Like, I never invited people over to my house because my house didn't look anything like theirs, like at all. Not even close. Okay. They had like 3-story homes with a basement and the vibes. I didn't have any of that. And then on top of that, like, my mom wasn't buying all the cool snacks. Okay. When you're a kid, that stuff matters. Like, you go to your friends. I would go to my friend's house. Their fridge would be packed with all the best snacks. Like, all the best snacks that kids love. Their kitchen was full of that stuff. My kitchen, first of all, I was never starving. Like, we always had food, but we didn't have them type of snacks. All the food that we had was stuff you had to cook. Okay. It was never anything that was like cool and, yeah, come to my house. I got all these fruit roll-ups. And it was never like that. It was never like that. She would have like off-brand cereal. Like, when you're a kid, like that stuff matters. And so the point I'm making is I grew up feeling like I wasn't good enough. I grew up feeling like, I was living in lack because of what I was around. Again, if she had us in a lower income house, a lower income area, I would have felt rich. But because she had us in an area where, their parents were making well over 6 figures, I felt extremely poor. Okay. Growing up, that's really how I felt. And so, I think that has a lot to do with why I'm so driven now. That's what my counselor thinks, because I did grow up like that, feeling like I didn't have all the cool things that my peers had. But the point I'm making with all of this is you can literally change your life. Like, whatever you're not happy with, you can change. And this is coming from somebody who grew up in a single parent household, feeling like they didn't have what their friends had, feeling embarrassed, which is crazy because looking back at it, like, I had everything I needed. But I'm just saying, like, as a kid, that's just how I felt. I'm honest. I'm just telling you that's how I felt. So you can literally change your life. Like, now when I was 18, I would have never imagined that I could do 6 figures. Never. Absolutely not. And here I am doing 6 figures and not even clocking into a job. Like, literally from my cell phone, from a laptop, from Wi-Fi, from social media. Like, come on, man. This is what I'm saying. Like, but you would rather sit around and complain instead of get to it. Like, just get to it. It's just crazy to me how sometimes, like, and I know I can sound a little mean, but I'm really just talking to you guys like how I talk to myself, okay? I talk to myself with love, but I also call myself out on my bullshit. Like, I really do. Like, the way I talk in my videos, if I catch myself making excuses, I call myself out. I don't coddle myself. But a lot of you guys, you're literally wasting your potential. Like, it's literally wasting away. There are so many things that you're really good at. And I used to not think I was talented. I remember when I was younger, like, mad at the fact that I didn't have any talent. And at the time, I thought talent was like singing, being able to dance, being able to play an instrument really good. Like, so I felt for the longest time I had no talents. That's really how I felt. And I would be so mad because I'm like, wow, like some of my friends can really sing and I don't have any talents. Like I'm not good at anything. And that's not true. That's not true at all, you know? But we all have talents. The problem is you haven't learned how to tap into yours. And so you're literally just you're wasting the talent that God gave you because some of you guys are just sitting on your ass, just talking about what you can't do, and you haven't even tried. Or you tried for 2 hours 6 years ago and you haven't done it since. And then you want to use the bullshit excuse of, well, I just don't have time. That's not true. You have time. If you have time to catch up on your shows and you know all the tea with these celebrities, then you have time. Do not sit up on this live and lie. Absolutely not. We're not doing it. I'm going to do the same lip combo as yesterday because it was giving. Yesterday it was giving. I think with the olive, I think it's going to give. For my lip combo, I'm doing Night Moth for the liner by MAC. I love this lip liner. And then I'm doing Juvia's Place lipstick Chic, CHIK. It's like a nude pink color. It was giving yesterday. I'm not gonna lie, it was giving. I was like, ooh, okay. So we're gonna do that again. We're gonna run that back. But you're literally like wasting your talents, sitting around talking about what you can't do. And it's frustrating. I tell you, the further away I get from that mindset, the more frustrated I get when I see other people still living in that mindset, because the only reason why I was able to escape that mindset was because I stopped caring what people thought. I stopped making excuses and I started to believe in myself. Okay. That's why. And going back to like my childhood, I don't regret it. Like I'm actually glad my mom put me in that environment. See, everything happens for a reason. And I'm actually glad that she had us grow up like that. I don't think it was intentional. Like, I don't think she was like, oh, well, I want my kids to feel poor, so I'm going to put them in an area to go to a school with a whole bunch of rich kids so they could feel poor. No, she just wanted to make sure that we had a good education. But I'm glad that I was put in that situation because it showed me what is possible. It showed me what I can have, right? If I had went to a school where, it was lower income and everybody is poor and nobody got fancy luxury cars at 16, right? Then I might have been complacent with the life that I had and I would have never even got to experience what's possible. Like when my mom would drop me off at my friend's house, because I used to play basketball. I'm 6'3", by the way. And so a lot of times she always had to work. So she was never able to go to my games. So she would always coordinate and let me ride with other people and their parents would take me and stuff like that. And so my friends, they lived in big ass houses, like fucking mansions, you guys. Like, that's why I would be so embarrassed because my friends would be like, why don't you ever invite us over to your house? And I'd be like, oh, I'd always make up excuses because my house wasn't even like a quarter of their house, right? But like driving and seeing those big ass houses, like that exposed me to what's possible, right? That exposed me to how life could be. So I don't regret it at all. I think that was actually the best thing she did for me. And she didn't even realize, I don't think she realized like that was the impact it was going to have. But that's really, because when if you're around people and everyone has the same stuff as you, you might not feel the need to do more because, you're doing just like everyone else is doing in your environment. But when you're around people and everyone around you has way more than you, like I was the poor friend. So if you have kids, then you know what I'm talking about. Like I was the friend that was always over at their house. Their parents would always like pay for me if we went out. Like, I was the poor friend. And so at the time it was embarrassing. Yes, it was very embarrassing. But it just showed me what's possible. It showed me another way of living. And so, being exposed to that, I think that's why I'm so driven now, because I got to see how life could be. I got to see what money can buy me. Some of my friends, they like for their vacation, like for their summer vacation, they would go to Europe. Like, I'm sitting here trying to beg my mom to take me to Disney World, right? And I never went to Disney World. And they went to Europe. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was like that. Okay? Like, so, it was like that. Like, and they didn't just go to Europe for a week. No, they were there a whole summer. Like, I couldn't contact them at all. Okay? Like, it was like that. But I say all that to say, if I had never been exposed to that, I wouldn't even know that was possible. Like I wouldn't even know that was possible. And then something else too, this also used to embarrass me. I told you I grew up in a single parent household. My mom and dad were divorced. All of my friends, their dad lived with them. Like, I remember when I first went to my friend's house, her parents, everyone was married. Everyone's parents were married. And so when I went to my friend's house, I never thought about it. It just never crossed my mind. This was all in high school, by the way. I went to my friend's house and, she introduced me to her mom and dad or whatever. And they were very nice. And so when we got to her room, I was like, your parents live together? I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, what do you mean? I was like, that is so cool. And she was like, what are you talking about? I was like, your dad stays here? Wow, that is so cool. That's really how I felt. I was like, wow. And then when I go to my other friends' house, like everybody's parents were married and the dad lived there. Like that's how I felt. Remember, you guys, like this is a teenager. Like this is a teenage mindset. So some be like, duh. But like I'm just telling you, like this is really how I felt. And so I remember saying to myself, well, when I have kids, I'm gonna be married. That's what I said. I would say that. Like I'm not gonna have kids till I'm married, and it's gonna be a healthy marriage, and the dad's gonna live with me. Like I was literally saying that stuff. Like I know that sounds crazy because a lot of people were like, duh, why would it not be that way? But I'm just telling you, like, this was just the mindset that I had. And I think that's, it actually helped me be the woman that I am today because I was exposed to all of those things at a young age. And I saw what was possible, right? And I feel like if I didn't go to school around a whole bunch of rich people, I would have never knew it was possible to go to Europe for a whole summer vacation and spend 3 months in Europe with your family, bouncing from one country to the next. And it's just freaking normal. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. So you can manifest any life that you want, you can have, but it's going to require you to show up for it. Okay, so I have an Amazon package. I told you guys I'm unboxing all packages with you guys. So before we do my hair, let's see what Amazon brought us last night. Okay. I already know what it is, but I'm gonna act like I don't know. It's basic. It ain't nothing for real. All right. It is my moisturizer, Cetaphil. So this is what I use on my body and my face, Cetaphil. I don't really feel like I have it anymore, but I had plaque psoriasis. No, not plaque psoriasis, scalp psoriasis. I had scalp psoriasis. I was diagnosed with it. And by the way, this is like a really thick consistency lotion. Like it's really thick. My dermatologist recommended it to me years ago. I've been using it for years. I was diagnosed with scalp psoriasis, I would say back in like 2016. And it just happened randomly. This was back when I wasn't taking care of my hair. Okay, like now my hair is super long. I don't take care of my hair. I don't touch my hair. I go and get it professionally done. But back then, like I was not taking care of my hair. I was natural, but I didn't really know what to do with it. I wouldn't wash it like I was supposed to. Like I was not taking care of my hair. So this is when it started. I started to get like these really like big ass blisters in my scalp. And at first I would just scratch them because they were itchy. So I didn't know what it was. And then like it would start burning. And then it would start flaking, and it looked like just giant clumps of dandruff in my scalp. It would bleed, it would stink, and it's like I did not know what to do. I had shown pictures to like my friends. Nobody knew what it was. I didn't know what it was either. And so I was like, I need to go to the dermatologist. So I went to the dermatologist, and she was Black, which I thought was really cool. And she told me I had scalp psoriasis. And she says, not really anything I can do about it, like to make it go away. But she was like, there's things that we can do to like alleviate the pain, to get rid of the blisters. But it's something that I will quote unquote always have. And it also started moving to other parts of my body. So like my back would start to burn really bad. My groin area, my armpits, but most of it was on my scalp. And so she had suggested that I use Cetaphil for my skin, like on my body. And for the psoriasis in my scalp, she had said I could start doing like steroid shots to kind of alleviate the symptoms. She also said that I needed to just make sure that I was washing my hair more often, and then also making sure my scalp was dry. So I couldn't do any more like wash and goes. Like she said that I can't do that. Keeping water in my scalp like that is going to make it worse. So, that's what I was dealing with. But the crazy thing is I dealt with it for years. She gave me ointments and stuff to use. When I became vegan, when I lost 100 pounds, all that shit went away. I can't make this up. And I was also drinking heavy back then too. I was in like my alcoholic phase. I was drinking heavy too. When I stopped doing all that, when I stopped eating like shit, when I stopped drinking, when I lost all my weight, the psoriasis went away. Like I still go for the check-ins, right? Like every year I go and she looks at my scalp, just to make sure everything is how it should be. All that stuff went away. All that stuff went away. Also too, I don't do my hair anymore. I go to the Dominicans and I let them wash it and blow it out. Like my hair is heat trained. So I don't even have my 4C texture anymore, except for like the new growth. But like my hair, all the hair that's been like, heat processed and stuff, it's like wavy now. Still thick, still healthy as hell, but I don't touch my hair anymore. And so I think changing my lifestyle, the way I ate and, not exercising, stuff like that, I think that really helped. Well, I know it really helped. So if you're struggling, and this is something I found a lot of people have talked about on the internet, like a lot of the skin problems, not everybody, obviously there's always going to be exceptions to the rule, but like, especially like in the Black community, a lot of the skin problems that we have, dairy. A lot of African Americans are lactose intolerant. And if you are lactose intolerant, your body can't really break down lactase. And so you might have really bad acne, or you might be constipated, or you might have diarrhea, stuff like that, because your body just cannot break it down. But we don't know that You think it's just, oh, because I had this, when really it's just because you need to stop eating dairy. So if you're struggling with skin problems, what I highly would suggest is to stop eating dairy. But anyway, Cetaphil. This is expensive. I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to lotion, like this is like $16 for the 20 ounce. But this is by far the best lotion that I've ever used. It's very thick. Like, let me show you guys the consistency. If you've never used it, like, look at that. It's like a cream. It's literally like a cream. And I just rub it all over my body. Like every day after I get out the shower, this is what I use. And I don't really have a crazy skincare face routine. Like I have seen creators on social where they show you their face routine for their skin. Like it is so intense. And I low-key be feeling like I need to pick up my game because I don't do none of that shit. Yeah, my face is so clear. Like y'all see it. Like I don't have acne. I don't really do any of that. I do exfoliate every day when I'm in the shower, but that's really it. I do wear sunscreen on my face every day. I used to think because I was Black, I didn't need sunscreen. My dermatologist told me, no, you definitely need sunscreen. Please put sunscreen on every day, especially on your face. Even in the winter, you still need to wear sunscreen. So I do that. And I do use a vitamin C serum just to give my skin a glow, but I don't do all that extra crazy stuff. Like I really don't. So maybe one day I'll make a skincare routine video, but it's gonna be pretty boring. Like I don't really have anything to show. My skincare routine is no dairy. That's my skincare routine. How about that? But yeah, so yeah. So where are we at? So we've been talking about stop complaining. Also, before we move forward, make sure you guys join Glow Up Academy. If you have not already, y'all see the shirt. Y'all see the shirts. Glow Up Academy. I got these shirts made from Etsy shop in Etsy shop. Okay. Make sure you guys join Glow Up Academy if you haven't already. Hold on, I'm trying to pull it up now. Think like a CEO, earn like one. This is the space where I teach you guys how to build your online business, but I also teach you how to build yourself. Like we spend a lot of time talking about how to improve our confidence, how to become more disciplined, how to become more motivated, even though it's not motivation that keeps me going, you guys, it's discipline, because you're not always going to feel like working on the business. You're not always going to feel like making content, but when you become disciplined, when you master self, that's when you really start reaching your goals, because you're no longer operating in a if I feel like it. Okay, I don't go off of if I feel like it. I go off of what needs to be done. Now, some days, yeah, you might really just need a mental break, sure, and you take those. I take those. There are some days where I don't go live, right? Fine. There have been days where I was supposed to go live, but I just was mentally exhausted and I didn't go live, right? Or I didn't work on business. Okay, but that's not my normal. For a lot of you guys, that's your normal, and that's the problem. That's the problem. My goal for you is that you're working on your business more often than you're not, okay? And if you run it like that, you will get results. You will monetize your channel. You will sell your products. You will build your community. But again, our mindset, our habits determine like if you're going to reach your goals or not. Also, too, the way you talk to yourself. So we spend a lot of time building our mindsets inside Glow Up Academy, completely transforming everything about us so that you can build that successful business, okay? So click the link down below in my description, Glow Up Academy. It's only $39 a month. I don't want to hear about, I can't afford it, but you be at Chipotle every day. So make it make sense. Exactly. We don't do excuses. We don't do excuses. I don't do excuses. I don't know what to tell you. If you got Chipotle money every day, you got Glow Up Academy money. Stop playing. So yeah, link is down below in my description. Okay. You guys, I have been loving these flexi rods. Like, I've just been in love with the curls. This is why I tell you guys, put yourself together. It's so much fun. Like, it just gives, I don't know. I was on my walk this morning. And by the way, I walk every morning. And I was literally, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm getting more and more gray hairs. Like, they're like just sprouting. It's like once I turned 35, like last week, it's like they're just taking over my scalp. I don't know what happened. Is 35 the age when this gray hairs just start coming in overflow? Like, what happened like between 34 and a half and 30? Like, the gray hairs are just here to stay. Like, they're just taking over. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, I was walking this morning, and I want you to do this too. Please do this. I was walking this morning, and I was literally thinking to myself, Jazz. By the way, I talk to myself. I told you I ain't got no friends, so the only person I got to talk to is me. Anyways, I was like, Jazz, I am so freaking proud of you for all of your hard work. I'm so proud of you for, I wish I had brought my other comb out here to part my hair. Hold on, this will be good. I'm so proud of you for all the hard work you've been putting in. I'm so proud of your resilience, keeping pushing, even when you don't feel like it, still showing up, even when you're questioning if it's gonna work. Like, I'm just so proud of you. And I want you to start having those type of self-talks with yourself. You don't need other people to tell you how proud they are of you. I want you to get to a point in your journey, your self-development journey, where you can affirm yourself, okay? I want you to be able to tell yourself how proud you are of yourself, okay? Because this is how we master self. We cannot keep looking for people to do things for us, confirm that we're amazing, support us. We have to be able to do that within ourselves, okay? There's nothing wrong with having people, compliment you. Of course, who doesn't love a good compliment? But I want you to be able to compliment yourself, okay? I want you to be able to tell yourself how amazing you are. And I want you to only hear that when somebody else tells you that. That's not gonna work out, okay? So please start having positive self-talks with yourself. Keyword, positive, all right? Not negative. Don't be sitting there telling yourself how stupid you are. That's not what we're doing here, okay? We're gonna have positive talks to ourselves, okay? That's what we're gonna do. So start doing that. It feels so good to be able to tell yourself how proud you are of yourself. It really is. It feels amazing. So if you're not already talking to yourself like that, please start, okay? All right, tomorrow I am not going to put heat on the middle part of my head. Okay. I just like to make sure the part is visible. I just like to make sure that the part is visible because when you have 4C hair, it just, you know the vibes. Okay. I just want the part to show. But anyway, so tomorrow I'm not even going to bring the flat iron out because I am not going to put heat on it. Not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. When my hair starts to get too like froey, when I have my sew-in, then I braid my hair and do more of like it's like a crinkly texture because this is kinky straight. I know it doesn't look like it because it's been flat ironed when I got it installed, but it's really like a kinky straight texture. And so when like my leave out starts to get a little too poofy for this, when it no longer matches the straights of the bundles, I'll braid the hair. So that way it's more bigger and it's kind of giving like Diana Ross. That's the vibe. It gives like Diana Ross. So we might start doing that because I don't want to keep putting heat on my hair to make it blend. We ain't going to be breaking off hair. Not in 2025. I've come too far on my hair growth journey to start losing hair now. We're not going to do that. So maybe not tomorrow, but the next day we'll probably just start doing braids to make it nice and froey like. Okay, let's do some affirmations, shall we? You're amazing, by the way, in case you didn't know. And you are capable of any and everything, just in case you were unsure. And you deserve to be successful. You deserve wealth and financial freedom. Those are things that I say to myself all the time. You deserve happiness. You deserve peace. And you deserve to only be around people who love and respect you. Okay? We're not doing any more toxicity. Not in 2025 and beyond. We're going to leave the toxic mess in the past. All right? We're not going to let people talk to us sideways. We're not going to let people disrespect us. We're never going to go back into that era. Never complain because nobody cares. Yes, we don't complain. No complaints. We're gonna come up with solutions. Solution-based conversations is all we're doing. Okay. So we're not going to let people talk to us crazy anymore. We're gonna have self-respect. So if people start trying to talk to you like they ain't got no sense, you're gonna leave them right where they have you fucked up at. Okay. We're not tolerating none of that. We're not tolerating half-ass friendships. So if people aren't reciprocating your energy, we're going to leave them in the past, right where they belong. We're not chasing anything or anyone. We're going to attract. We're going to spend every single day that we're blessed with doing something for the goal, creating the content, working on the business, talking about our products. We're going to show up confidently online, okay? We're not going to shrink ourselves. We're going to be okay with self-development. We're going to embrace change. We are going to love on ourselves, pour into ourselves. We're going to start putting ourselves first. We're going to stop being a people pleaser. We're going to start telling people no. We're going to start setting boundaries and sticking with them, okay? We're not going to continue to give our energy to people and places that do not serve us, okay? You are not selfish because you put yourself first. You are not a bad woman because you put yourself first. You deserve peace. You deserve love. And people who cannot fall in line with the new version of you, then they don't deserve to be around you, okay? As you self-develop, as you glow up, you're going to leave a lot of people behind. And that's okay, right? We all have different paths. And what you're not going to do is try to pull people up the ladder with you, because all they're going to do is try to bring you back down to their level. But you're not doing that because you have new standards about yourself, because you're starting to love yourself more than you ever loved yourself before, right? You're going to start showing up for yourself even if you don't feel like it. Yes. You're going to start working on your goals, not talking about them. If you have an idea, you're going to move. You're not going to overthink. You're not going to second guess. You're not going to try to be perfect. You're just going to do it. You're going to stop thinking worst case scenario and start thinking best case scenario. A lot of times when we think of something to do, we're always like, well, what if this happens? Okay, but what if that happens? What if we post a video and we help somebody? What if we launch our ebook and we make sales? What if we stay consistent and our channel grows? What if we make more money than we ever imagined? What if we're finally able to quit that 9-to-5 that we hated so much? What if we really build the brand that we always dreamed of? How would that feel? You would feel amazing, right? Yeah, because that's what will happen. But you get so bogged down into, well, what if I try something and people laugh at me? Meanwhile, they don't pay any of your bills. Meanwhile, they don't even care about you for real. Meanwhile, their opinions mean nothing. But that's what you're so worried about. What if you get to a point on your self-development journey where you're comfortable with sucking at something? What if you get to a point where you're comfortable with trying something new, knowing that you're going to suck at it because you're brand new to it, embrace the feeling of sucking at something, but keep showing up regardless and get better and better and better every single day because you're growing more and more experience in the process? Imagine how far you would be in a year from now. Yeah. We have got to change the way we think. We have got to start just being more positive. We have to get to a point where we become so comfortable. We become so comfortable with ourselves that we don't care what people think about us. We don't live in fear. We don't continue to allow fear to stop us from doing what we should be doing for ourselves, for our goals, for our dreams. Okay? The reason why I'm able to love myself so much is because I had to overcome a lot of the mindset things that were keeping me stuck. Okay? I used to have a lot of limiting beliefs as well. And every day that you just choose to do something a little bit different than you did yesterday, over time, it becomes easier and easier and easier. I told you guys, I decided this year, at the beginning of the year, that every day I was going to put myself together. I'm going to do my makeup, I was going to do my hair. Like, that was something I said. And at first it was hard because it just wasn't something I was used to doing. But the more I kept doing it, the more I actually started to enjoy the process of it. It allowed me to watch myself transform, but it also allowed me to feel better about myself and more confident in myself, because not the fact that you're painting your face, but the fact that you're putting yourself first thing in the morning, right? When you choose to work on things for you, when you first wake up, that changes how you see yourself. Okay. It's like you're subconsciously reprogramming yourself. Okay. Think about it. Every morning I get up and I go walk. That's not for anybody. That's not for anybody but for me. I'm not recording any content. Like, that's literally just something that Jasmine does for herself. And then once I finish my walk, I come back inside and now I do my makeup. It's more action of me doing things for myself. First thing, before I do anything else, it's all about me. Okay. When you can do that for you, it shows you that you're worth it. It shows you're showing yourself that you're putting yourself first. You're going to pour into yourself first. You're going to work on your body, your health first before you do anything else in the day, before you respond to any texts, before you make any calls, before you work on any business. It's about you first. That's showing yourself that you're the priority. And now that you're showing yourself that you're the priority in your life, it changes the way you move throughout the day. I can't make this up. I really can't make this up. Okay. And next thing you know, 11 months of doing this, you're a totally different woman. Your confidence is through the roof. You start to see yourself in a new light. You start to feel really good about yourself. And when you start to feel good about yourself, you guys, you stop tolerating bullshit. Not just bullshit from other people, but bullshit from yourself. You stop making bullshit excuses. You stop procrastinating. You stop talking to yourself like you ain't got no sense, right? All because you decided to adapt new habits that pour into you. Okay. So for those of you guys who are struggling with confidence and, just building yourself up, I'm going to continuously tell you guys to keep doing these things. Now, some of y'all not going to listen because again, you are so used to complaining that you just refuse to take action. There are literally people in this world who have all the resources right in front of them to change their life. But they don't really want change. They just want to complain. They really just want to complain. And fine, you're just not ready. You're just not ready, right? But for those of you guys who are ready, you're done complaining about stuff and you're really ready to change. Well, I'm telling you things to do for yourself to make you start feeling better about yourself. Because when you can start feeling better about yourself, then you can start doing better for yourself. Okay. So, take it or leave it. All I can do is share with you guys things that I've done in my life and how I've gotten to the place I'm at and how I continue to grow. And I continue to grow because I continue to prioritize myself. At the end of the day, you came in this world by yourself. You're going to leave about this world by yourself. And the last thing I want to do is reflect back and be mad at myself because I didn't put myself first. I don't want to live in regret. And I think regret comes from not living authentically, doing what other people want you to do just to make them happy, but not prioritizing your happiness. I'm not with that. I'm not with it. I'm not with that. So, that's just my take. To each his own. Let's see. What's the biggest mistake most new entrepreneurs make? Having their hands in too many baskets, you guys. Money flows where energy goes. Money flows where energy goes. Every single time I talk to somebody about their business or how to grow their business, whatever it is, more times than not, the reason why people's businesses don't grow is because they have their hands in too many baskets. It's like there's always a new shiny toy that you're trying to grab instead of focusing on the idea that you already have and pouring into it. Okay. And I've been guilty of this too. I've tried to run multiple things and something flops. You can't have true success unless you pour everything into that one thing. And then once that one thing starts to grow, then you can hire people to help you to take the load off of you so that you can focus on something else. But until you get to that point, you are going to have to continue to pour into one thing. You can't have 10 things. You can't even have 3 things. You have to choose one thing. I was, this was months ago. This was probably like March/April timeframe. I was doing work downstairs in my apartment complex. They have like offices and stuff like that. So I was sitting in an office doing some work. And this lady came up to me. She knocked on the door and I said, come in. And so she was like, yeah, I want to talk to you. I have so many businesses that I run. And I see that you run a business. I just want like your feedback. So I was like, okay, what's going on? And so she was like, yeah, so I have a cleaning business and I have a marketing business. And then I have, what did she say? Oh, she said she had a transportation business. She literally listed off 4 businesses that she had. 4. She had 4 businesses. And then she said she works full time too. Okay, so she had 5 things that she was giving her attention to, right? And she was like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, what would be my next step, like trying to make them profitable." I was like, "Your next step would be to choose one thing." And she was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "The reason why nothing is growing for you is because you have 5 things going on. So you're not giving your attention to anything. You just have all these ideas and things that you want to do, but nothing's actually getting up off the ground because you don't have any focus. You have no focus." And so she's like, "I never thought about it like that." I was like, "Yeah, you have to choose one thing. So you either want the transportation business, you either want the catering business, you either want the marketing business, or you either want the cleaning business. You can't have all the businesses. So you need to choose which business you want, and you need to give everything you have into that." But she's not the only person who's like that. There's so many people who are like that, and they think that is cool. I think people think like you're really an entrepreneur because you got all these things, but you're really just, I'm not going to use the word stupid, but you're really just you're really holding yourself back. You got to choose one thing, and then everything you got to pour into that. I recently started to experience this. So you guys know I have my fitness and wellness brand. And I noticed that when and I had been building that YouTube channel and that Instagram for years. Okay, this was years of work. And it was towards the end of last year, 2024, going to 2025, that my platforms started to really take off, right? Like my Instagram reels, I was getting like 30,000 views, 100,000 views. Like my content on that Instagram was really starting to go viral. Okay. And that had taken like 2 years to even get to that point. And so when I came into 2025, I was like, okay, I need to start monetizing this for real, like having some type of product to sell to the audience that I built through this fitness and wellness brand. And so that's why I had started selling the meal plans on TikTok. I told you guys when I first started going on TikTok live, I was selling wellness, like meal plans and stuff like that. And so, because I'm like, well, I'm gonna just cater to the audience I already built. People who are following me, they want fitness content, they want weight loss content. And so I realized that I had no desire to teach people how to eat right all day. Like that's not something that I'm passionate about. And so I started the coaching business, teaching people how to build their platforms, all this stuff, but I was still trying to hold on to the weight loss and fitness content because I had spent several years doing it. I didn't want to just throw it away. But I noticed as I was trying to do both, my weight loss and fitness content, it wasn't hitting like it used to because I wasn't giving all my energy into it. It turned into now I'm just reposting reels I already had because I don't have time because I'm putting so much energy into this coaching business. It turned into I'm not editing the reels like how I used to because I don't have time. So I could start to notice how the content for those platforms, they weren't performing like how they used to. And it was really hard for me to accept it. So I would start posting multiple times a day, and I was really just trying to keep it alive. But I noticed that the longer I was trying to keep it alive, the harder it was for me to grow my coaching brand because I'm not giving everything to the coaching brand because I'm still trying to hold on to this weight loss and fitness brand because I've already built these platforms for years. I already have an audience. But I realized I have no interest in teaching people how to lose weight and how to get in shape. It really was just a journey. It was really just me showing people my weight loss journey. Like that's what it was, just showing people what I'm doing to lose weight. At the time, I never really planned on becoming a personal trainer, but that would be the next step. But I had no interest in that, right? And so for months, now we're getting into the summer months, I was getting down on myself because I'm like, if I stop posting all those years of me building those platforms, it's literally just going to the wayside. But it's already going to the wayside because that's not even where my heart is. My heart is in online coaching. My heart is in teaching people how to build businesses. That's where my heart is. And so I would say the past month, for the past 3 to 4 weeks, I've slowly accepted that I can't have both. right? I'm either going to give my all into my online coaching business, which is what I really love to do. I show up for this every single day, all day long. Or I'm going to try to hold on to this weight loss and fitness brand because it's something that I've been building for years, even though it doesn't really align with who I am anymore, right? And it was hard, but I kind of accepted what I'm telling you. You have to choose one thing. You have to choose one thing. And when I stopped allowing myself to feel bad for not posting fitness content like how I was before, my coaching business really started to take off because now I'm putting all of the energy into this, which is what I really, really love to do. And so, that's the hardest part about entrepreneurship. Sometimes you pivot because you find yourself through the content, right? I was already on a self-development journey because I'm losing weight. I'm changing my mindset. And I was documenting all of that, but it was more fitness related. It was more, look at me work out, look at me lift weights. Now you go do it. There was no real depth there for me. And so, it was fun. It was cool. It kind of felt good to be going viral, but it wasn't my passion. It really wasn't my passion. And so sometimes you're going to start things because you think it's what you want to do. But a lot of times you don't really know what it is you want to do until you actually do it, right? And sometimes you'll have to pivot, but that's okay. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means that what you're doing doesn't align with who you're becoming, right? And I think that's the beauty of content, because it doesn't really matter what kind of content you make. There's a realm online for you. There's a niche for you. So try it, commit to it. You might find out 2 years, 3 years later, like how I did, that it's just not something that you want to do. And that's okay. You still have all the experience and the knowledge from building the first thing, that now the second thing you choose to build, it's going to take off because you already learned what you didn't know before. Okay. So you never really start at square one, because now you have all this knowledge that a lot of people don't even have because you've already done it. Right. And will I still post the content? Yeah. Like, I'm not giving up on weight loss and fitness. It's still a big part of who I am. But I'm not going to let myself feel bad if I don't get 100,000 views anymore on a reel. And that's something me and my mentor had to talk about. What is 100,000 views going to do for you if you don't have anything to sell people? If you're not interested in being a personal trainer, if you're not interested in teaching people how to eat better, to sell products to, then what does that really do for you? At this point, it's more just vanity. It's more just you want the clout. And when she put it like that, I was like, yeah, I guess she's right. If that's not what you truly want for yourself, then there's really no point. You can do it for fun, just to collect ad revenue off of views. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't beat yourself up for it because it no longer really aligns with who you're becoming. So yes, I will still post on there. I went on my other YouTube. I haven't posted on that YouTube in 14 days. I was like, gosh, time goes by so fast. I'm still going to post on there. I'm still going to make the content, but it's going to be more so for fun. If something hits, then it hits. If it only gets 100 views, then it only gets 100 views, right? Because I'm not really in the direction of weight loss and fitness anymore. I'm into business. So I want you guys to be okay if you change your mind. If you try something and you decide that's not for you, then move on to something else. But just understand that you can only focus on one thing. So you have to choose one thing. So go through all your ideas and really dig deep and ask yourself, what is something that you think you could show up for every single day teaching people how to do? Right? And once you figure out what those are, Start trying them and try to start showing up every day. Give it a month. Is it hard to show up every day for it? Are you finding yourself kind of like, here we go, right? If you start to have that type of energy and you don't really look forward to it, then that means that doesn't align with you. And that's okay. So then we have to find something else. Okay. And then we just have to find something else. And that's what I had to deal with. That's what I had to go through recently. But here we are, and once I put all of my energy into this is when it started to grow. A lot of times we hold ourselves back because it's like we want to hold on to things that we've been trying, but we already know it doesn't really align with who we're becoming. But you don't want to let it go, but you're not really letting it go. You're just taking the knowledge and the experience that you've built, and you're just putting it into something else, right? So I already know how to build a YouTube channel. I learned that through my weight loss and fitness channel. I already know how to build an Instagram. I built that through my weight loss and fitness. So it's not like I'm starting at square one, not knowing anything. I know exactly what to do. I'm just altering the content, and now it aligns more with who I'm becoming, right? So don't ever feel like you're starting over. You're never starting from the beginning. You're starting with more experience and more knowledge than you had a year ago, 6 months ago, a month ago, right? So just look at it like that, but know that you do have to choose one thing. You have to pick one thing, okay? Money flows where energy goes. I hope that makes sense. How do I know what to outsource first? Well, you shouldn't be outsourcing anything until you have some money. You should not be outsourcing anything until you have some money. It's amazing how people be so quick to try to outsource something, but they haven't even done anything yet. I had someone inside Glow Up Academy, she had joined. She kind of like disappeared. She wasn't really talking too much. And so I check in to see how things are going with people. And so she had said she had just finished her ebook, and I was congratulating her on that. She sent it to me. I gave her the feedback. She fixed the things. And I said, okay, great. Now we have to start promoting. So have you created your platforms? Like, what are your goals with that? And then she was like, yeah, but first I have to find a VA. And a VA stands for virtual assistant. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, what do you need a virtual assistant for? And then she was like, yeah, I need a virtual assistant so I can get them to start sending out the emails for me. And I'm like, the emails for you? What do you mean? And she was like, well, for the email marketing. I was like, do you have an email list? Like, how many people are on your email list? She said she didn't have an email list. So then I was like, okay, what do you need a virtual assistant for? And then she was like, well, when I have the email list. I was like, okay, when you have the email list, then we can think about virtual assistants. But if you're not making any money yet, then there's really no reason for you to be bringing people on and outsourcing when you're not making money yet. And so then she's like, oh, well, what'd she say? She said, all the coaches have virtual assistants. I said, because they're making money and they have so much on their workload that's something that they can outsource because all those things are queued. But if you're not there yet, we have to get you there first before you can outsource. So don't be outsourcing until you're making money. There's no reason for you to be outsourcing anything until you're making money, because now you're just accruing business expenses that you can't afford. Why do you have people helping you when you're not making money yet? That doesn't make sense. So until you start making money, you're sending the emails, you're making the thumbnails, you're recording the content, you're editing the content, you're posting the content, you're running the business. You're a one-woman show. Welcome to entrepreneurship. Like, I don't know why it just kind of seems like we're in this mindset of, I don't want to work hard. I don't know where that came from, but that's how I interpret it. Yeah, you're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff by yourself. Yes, you are, for years, okay? But how you can't really start outsourcing until you've already done the task, so you already know what it takes. How are you outsourcing? Queuing your emails takes all of 5 minutes because ChatGPT gonna write them for you anyway. So what are we even talking about? What are we really even talking about here? So yeah, you are the one-woman show, and you're going to be the one-woman show for a very long time. For a very long time. So get comfortable. Make it fun, okay? Because we're not outsourcing anything, so we're making money. So I I don't know. What does a CEO mindset actually look like day to day? Knowing that you're the shit. That's what it looks like. Having the utmost confidence in yourself. That's what it looks like. Knowing that you really are her. Okay. Knowing that you really can do this. Knowing that you have what it takes, you have the resiliency, you have the consistency, you have the discipline to just keep pushing. That's what it looks like. Living in abundance. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Believing in your product, knowing that the product that you have is transforming lives. That's what it looks like. And, you may not have all of that right now. I didn't, but you're going to keep working towards it. You're just going to keep showing up every day, just trying to be better than you were yesterday. That's all you can do. Every day, just try to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. Just keep showing up, keep putting in the work. And over time, you're stacking belief in yourself. You're showing yourself, okay, I can do this. I got a sale today. Okay, so now I got to figure out how I can make 2 sales. Now I got to figure out how I can make 10 sales, right? You become addicted. You really do. You become so addicted to the progress. And next thing you know, years have gone by and you're reflecting back on where you used to be. And back then you didn't think anything was possible. And here you are, however many years later, realizing that all it took was consistency. All it took was going off with the plan and not the move. All it took was to just keep pushing. That's literally the secret. It's consistency. And I learned that on my weight loss journey. Just consistently eating less, consistently working out. I finally lost 100 pounds. Same with business. If you just consistently post, if you just consistently go live, if you just consistently talk about the product, you will make sales. You will build an audience. But most people are confused with what consistency means. People think consistency means like once in a while, once every other month. No, I tell you guys this every day, and I'm going to tell you this again today. Consistency means every day, which is why I keep saying, choose something that you truly love, because then it's really not hard to be consistent. Okay? All right, you guys, I truly enjoyed you. Real quick, before we get off of here, make sure you guys join Glow Up Academy. This is the space where I teach you guys not only how to build your business and build your brand and build your platforms, but also how to build yourself, okay? How to build your confidence, your mindset, your discipline, your accountability, your consistency, to get rid of those limiting beliefs that you hold on to truly transform your life. It starts in here, right? So not only are you going to think like a CEO, you're going to earn like one. The link is down below in my description. I'm going to go on a little walk, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm going to hop on TikTok live. I'm running with the business, okay? Every single day I work on my business, every day. And because I work on my business every day, my business gives me results. Okay. So if you want that too, you can have that. There's nothing out of reach for you, but it is going to require you to change who you are. A lot of times who you are today doesn't align with who you're trying to become, but that can be changed, right? You can fix your habits. You can fix your routines. You can fix your mindset, and you can have anything that you want. It all starts with you. Okay. All right. You guys have an amazing Thursday, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.